Most people talk about wins, but let's be real. I started two online businesses that failed. And not kind of failed, but really, really in my face kind of failed. And with these failures, I lost money, I lost time, but most sad of all, I lost motivation. But with these losses, I gained something that I would never really lose. If you're thinking of starting your own online business, or already started one, and just like myself, and it failed, this video is meant for you. And it all started with my first business called Hydrate Blend. Hydrate Blend was supposed to be a brand that sold a portable electronic blender, which allowed you to basically blend up your fruits on the go and allow you to have a smoothie on the go. It was a really hyped up product. It was something that the market in SA had never seen before. So I thought that such a product would not only be a good product in SA, but it would be something that I would sell as a sports product, allowing people to blend up their fruit seamlessly, quick, and not having to wait at home and blend it up. So I thought that this product would have been amazing, would have been a good niched up product if I was able to brand up Hydrate brand around that. And so I did the obvious thing that any person that wanted to go into dropshipping did. They ordered the product into their house. And once it arrived, I was filled with so much excitement to finally put some fruits in and see what this thing could do. And lo and behold, it failed. It didn't cut up any fruits. The thing was so very brittle. Whenever the thing would spin around and catch a fruit, it would literally stop, which meant that it wouldn't have been a product that I would have been able to sell consistently enough and obviously allow it to work in the customer's hand. And that was my official first fail with dropshipping. I thought I did everything. I had the store ready, I had everything ready, payment processes, tested account. All I had to do was just have the product and make content around it. But that didn't work. And that spells my first fail. I had ordered the product, which was about 300 rand, and I had everything prepared from Shopify stores. Leveling around, I lost about 400 rand. And then that brings us on to the first lesson. Although I believed in the product and then slowly let go, this taught me one of the very big business lessons about trusting in your product. You see, I didn't trust in my product, meaning it wouldn't have been something that I could sell consistently and have faith. What if somebody had bought this product and it also had this finicky attachment onto it where you could open up the bottle, and as you open up the bottle, the blade would be sticking out and the button was exposed, so whenever somebody would go closer, you could theoretically cut yourself. So it wasn't a product that I trusted. It wasn't one that I thought my customers would be happy about. So it was one of those I ultimately didn't believe in. And that brings us into the lesson that you must trust the product that you're willing to sell to other people. Because you can't sell something to somebody you don't believe that the product will benefit them in any way. And then this brings us on to Odyssey Beam. Odyssey Beam was something that I thought was going to take me out. I thought this was going to be the dropshipping product that took me out. And this is one of the ones that I had the most faith in and backed it up with the most money. This is the one I did the most market research into. This was the product I thought that was going to get me out of the matrix, theoretically. And dare I say, it didn't achieve that. Odyssey Beam was supposed to be an online store that sold this portable projector. But this portable projector was nice because it could play at the highest qualities possible, 4K. You could connect it onto your PlayStation and play video games, and it could have been a substitute for most people's TVs. Plus, I was selling it at a price where most TVs would never have even been seen, 3,000 rand. But I was running a lot of promotions on it, so I was basically selling it for 2.5, and I had a margin on that. And this was a product I was very faithful on. I did designing for my Shopify store by myself. Took hours and hours. I tried to make it nice, was optimized for conversions. I even did the unbelievable. I ran ads as a newbie, not really knowing how to run ads. I didn't really know what was optimizing for engagement or sales were. I didn't know all these business practices back then. These were little mistakes that I'd made with running ad accounts. I'd run ads on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and was considering X, but I was afraid I was going to burn too much money. And all of these ads were racking up views. I was getting store visits. I felt like the man, even though I hadn't made one sale. And lo and behold, I made 0 sales on that store. That was the store I'd worked so hard on. That was the store I reached my first 100 visits in a day from running ads. And I thought it was going to be something good, but I just didn't learn the fundamentals of how to market. You see, all my marketing and the content that I had around that product was literally other people stealing TikTok videos, repurposed and put onto us other social medias, and I literally just ran ads on that. So I didn't have content that could win the algorithm and get me sales. And that taught me into this next lesson. And if I'm truly being honest, this was the loss that hurt me the most. This is the one where I put in thousands of rand into and got no return on investment, no sales. This was one of those products that literally really hurt my confidence and brought me down and made me not believe that I had the ability to be an entrepreneur. And these brings us into these 5 lessons that I've learned about starting these businesses. And starting with number 1, passion means nothing without product market fit. You see, I had the problem with Hydrate Blend being a very trendy product. It was something that was blowing up in the American market, and it was something that I wanted to bring into SA to see how it would do over here. It was very trendy, but the problem is, even if I did manage to sell, I probably would have had the same issue as Odyssey Beam. It's not something that's very needed, even though it could have been something that people could take to work and blend up their fruits or do something like that. It couldn't really be something that sports people would do. So definitely what would have made me lose in that situation was the fact that I didn't know how to market to real life people, only people that did sports, because that's personally what I enjoyed. And Odyssey Beam, what I had learned from this is that even though it did solve the problem of having a cheaper alternative to TVs, I wasn't marketing it properly to the right audience that would have needed it. Maybe people that were not so well off, people that would genuinely need that as a replacement for the TV. My one issue is that I did not market to those people. Like I said, all my marketing was videos I stole off of TikTok and just repurposed it. If you guys actually want to see that, I'm going to leave the link to the Instagram page for Odyssey Beam and you guys can check that out. And then the next one is discipline over dopamine. And I'm saying this because when I started these online businesses, it felt good because I had personally watched a course, an 18-hour course by Jordan Brown, who basically taught me the ins and outs of Shopify stores and that kind of stuff. And if I'm being honest, it felt good. It felt good to take videos from TikTok and put those things online. It felt good to have this consistent schedule, but the problem was it felt more good than being disciplined. You see, another issue I'd had with Odyssey Beam is that I didn't really take it out onto its full course because it didn't feel good anymore because I wasn't disciplined. So if I'd had more discipline with Odyssey Beam, it could have been probably a shop that would have gotten me 1 or 2 more sales because of more consistency. But I didn't have the discipline to be able to pump that kind of stuff out consistently. And that was one of the many fails that I'd realized, that consistency is one of the core aspects of it. And then on to lesson number 3. Emotions are expensive. Even though I put on all this hard work to do this, I was emotionally driven. I was like, this product is definitely going to work because this would be something that I would probably impulse buy and nobody would really need. And I believe that these products are going to be the ones to set me out. And as I can say, emotions are expensive. Because I'd gotten so excited, I thought it would have been fine to run a few more ads without a sale. It would have been okay to do a bit more designing on the store just to make it more crisp. All things that didn't matter. You see, you must never redefine something and make it good before it actually gets sales. And that was another brutal lesson I'd learned from this. And then lesson number 4, people do not buy your product because of you. They buy the product because it is good for them. You see, a core thing about selling and business in general, everything needs to have an upside for the customer. And if I really do think about it, all of my products would have probably given them so much value in the way that they could have probably had a portable TV in a sense, and they would have had a blender that they could take anywhere. Things that could have solved problems that most people never had. And another big thing that I learned from businesses, your product needs to solve a problem for it to be worthy for it to buy, or else the client just won't feel like they're getting anything in return. You see, In the world, everything is a value exchange, and your product must give off the most value, that the cost would seem small in comparison. And that was a big lesson that I learned from these businesses. And then number 5, God doesn't bless chaos. And when I say this, I mean that even though I tried hard with these products, I've tried hard with these Shopify stores, even though it was stuff that I'd learned for all these things, didn't have any structure. I didn't have any scheduled times that I would post. I didn't have scheduled times when I would look at market research and eventually try to even get the products for Odyssey being that projected to actually make content. All I did was kind of just wing it and just follow off tutorials. And these aren't things that businesses do. You see, one of the main things that makes businesses so consistent is the fact that they have a system that works, and it's a system that they keep implementing into all of their products and in their business to make sure that their standard of quality doesn't gravitate around a certain level, but it keeps on elevating each time. And honestly, to close off, after I had failed at Odyssey being, things didn't seem the same anymore. I didn't want to make businesses around trends anymore. I didn't want to make businesses that were something that was going to make me feel like I had flex money and money that I could just launch around with. I wanted to build something much more personal. I wanted to build a legacy, longevity, and I wanted to do it in a way where I could serve people, where I could help people, and I could use my resources to help others. But I was never going to be able to achieve that chasing the quick highs of fleeting drop shipping products. And this is why I started this channel, because I'd wanted something more real. And if starting your own business is something that you'd like to do, trust me when I say you're never behind and there's never a wrong time to start. Start small. Start with something that you enjoy, and obviously track the numbers. Have a valid system. Have a way to see what worked and didn't work, and try and improve that each and every time. And then you'll have a formula that'll work for you. And then a big one, stop trying to skip the wilderness because Jesus had to go through one. Hydrate Blend taught me to test everything, and Odyssey Beam taught me that structure is key. And both showed me that success without character is a dangerous thing, and that having character is much more important than having millions and millions of rand in the bank account. But as a quick send-off and encouragement, I hope that your business journey goes well. Come back stronger, wiser, and build more difference. Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and comment rooted if you stayed until the end. My name was Ntako Mashaba, and it was nice being with you guys.